Well, Tony Brown, great to see you back down here at the training ground. How are you?
Absolutely great. All the better for a bit of fresh air and doing something that I love, watch training and be part of the club again.
What kind of a day has it been with Robbo and the team out there for you?
He's made a real fuss of me, brought me down. I was able to, obviously had the test beforehand and kept to the strict COVID regime they've got here, and he allowed me to have a little chat to the boys, and it wasn't just about going through the history of the club, and they're fully aware of where the club come to and what and how we evolved. It was more to say how special they are as a team and how important they are to our fans, and to just say that the 11 games left are really gives us an opportunity to plan for next year. Yes, I know that's a relegation battle, but it gives us a platform for Robbo to get his points across, to Robbo to get transfer a completely different style of football as to what he wants and what he believes in. I'm obviously a bit biased because I've kept in contact with Robbo since I left. We regularly have phone calls. I thought at one time he'd need to move to get on, and thought, come on, you're ready for it now. He's been ready for it for 5-6 years. He knows the club inside out, and it's not, sometimes we get branded with, it's another Wimbledon bloke, he's been there for donkey's years. He's served his trade, he's served his time, and he's definitely one technically the best coaches I've ever worked with. He's got a real way with the players that comes from not you better do it, you got to do it, to let's work on this together, let's get better together. I love the fact that he operates on it's 80% us, and we'll worry about the 20% on the opposition. He talked a bit about Northampton. They've seen info on Northampton, but it's all very much what we're going to do, how we're going to dictate play. And when you think, you're full-time professional footballers playing in League One, it's not enough to say, well, we've got to stop the opposition playing. Yes, they'll work very hard at stopping you. They'll have a high. Well, I won't discuss too much of how they're going to play, but he allowed me to watch all of that today, and the enthusiasm from his coaching staff, the enthusiasm from himself, Bezo, lunatic goalkeeping coach. How on earth he keeps such enthusiasm up? There's only so many coaching drills you can do for a goalie, and the man's a genius at it, and he's got a good squad of young players. I think it's the youngest team in the leagues, all of the leagues. And when you've got a young coach who can not manipulate but can work and make those good players better, and it's very much a scenario of don't tell me what you can't do, tell me what you can do, and tell me what you can do better. And I think that's the way ahead. Yeah.
He told us the story that when he called you to tell you that he got the job, that you'd left your phone on when you'd finished the call, and he could hear in the background how genuinely pleased you were for him that he got the job. What do you remember of that?
I didn't actually know that until that point, but I'll have to be careful in the future. No, Robbo knows I've always admired. I love how he thinks outside the box. He's come up with this sort of roadmap, and it's better than the Boris roadmap, I might add. And it's all about different things they need to get better at, all things that they need to improve. And he's going from a different style of football, but he's thinking out the box constantly. And he's always studied the Arsene Wengers and the Mourinhos and all of those. And I see him, to be honest, you look now, the role models for coaches and managers would be Pep and Jurgen. I'd see him very much as the Leeds manager, because he thinks outside the box. He's quite willing to to change things. It's all about doing things together, and that is very much the Wimbledon way. And it's about improving them individually so they can technically get better as a team. And I was overjoyed with the appointment, because it's a big ask to go from loans manager and a first team coach into being a gaffer. It's quite obvious talking to the players today, they love it. They love the fact that he's telling them to play without fear. He's telling them to pass the ball. He's telling them to play out from the back. Not in a silly way. I've just watched the highlights with the new technical guy, G, and looked at the goal that Charlton give away on Saturday, and I went, yeah, we're playing in the back, Robbo, but are we doing that where the goalie gets it and you get it inside the box? He said, no. We're not being kamikaze, we're not being stupid. We are going to play football out from the back when people are available in space, and we're not going to play that silly straight ball. We're not going to play square balls, we're going to play angle balls, and we're going to play our football as and when we can. And we know for a fact, watching them Northampton video, they're going to come and press us high, they're going to come and try and stop us playing. And that's going to be an exciting game, and boy, a very important game on Saturday.
Absolutely. I've got to ask about yourself as well, of course, being back here today. Is this the first time you've been back since you left? What kind of memories does it
I come back and Neil invited me back, and I had a look at the changes they made. Now it's like a different place. I mean, to be honest, I'm sitting in the bar where, in the old regime, when I come we didn't have an office at all. I was just running through with a Czech guy, how football has changed and how the club has moved with the times. And I think I used to take home a DVD to run through Saturday night if we'd won, because I'd watch it with a bottle of wine if we'd won and run through it. If we'd lost, I went out to the pub and got slaughtered, and then I'd run through the whole of Sunday going 18 minutes we scored the goal, 18 minutes, 25 minutes they scored, because we're going to win this game, and then 45 minutes we scored the winner. And then that I would then run through that a million times in my head, so I knew when I presented that to the players on Monday that if we lost, they'd have to watch it all, and if we won, we'd do the highlights. So there was an incentive there for us winning, and I knew then that I would be able to say, who's picking the 5 up on their set piece goal. But it was so labour intensive, and Robbo's so lucky. Now he walks in and goes, "Can I look at their 2 goals? Can I look at this? Can I look at that?" Any player can go and get any footage he likes out about his own game, about what his roles are, about where to shut down, what lines to shut off. It's a totally different world. And a couple of the boys who I know and I've worked with before in the squad said they want to get back into management, Brownie. No, it's know when to get out. I really enjoyed my time. It was a brilliant time. I had 5 fantastic years here, and to be able to come back after what is 9 years now and get the sort of welcome that Robbo gave me was what I expect from Wimbledon.
Absolutely. I remember we did a great interview with your good friend Dave Anderson shortly after we'd beaten them one night. And you'd had a couple of drinks as well back in the day when you could have a drink.
Only a couple.
And we were talking then about the fact that we needed a new stadium. And what have you made of the new stadium now? Have you seen much of it yet?
I haven't had the pleasure of visiting it yet. I walked around it when it was 3/4 done, and that the access to it is a nightmare. I'm going to be bending Chris's arm to try and get in to maybe do something. I do a little bit of punditry and commentary for Aldershot, one of my other old teams, and I'm sure I could sit there and watch a game and tell you how well the boys are playing if you ever get the chance to invite me up. No, I'd love to see Plan A, but I'm wary also to not to take the P, because there's people that have given hundreds of thousands to this club. There's people that have given their whole life to this club and supporting, and there wouldn't be a club without them. And I think it's right that I go in before them, you know. I think that there'll be a proper full house initially when we first open, but I don't see why the gate shouldn't double. I really don't see why the gate shouldn't double. You know, and the truth is, you'll be able to see the game now as well, won't you? You know, especially if you're an opposition supporter. And I've got a Bournemouth mate who come down and went, well, I didn't see anything. So at least you pay your money now and you'll get to see a game. And you'll get to see a footballing game where Robbo's giving them licence to play. Robbo's saying, play your football and improve, and let's play our game. And I'm looking forward to Wimbledon. And it's not necessarily about styles, because, you know, in Harry's days in the Crazy Gang, they imposed their style. They didn't worry about the opposition, they just imposed their style. Different style today, times have moved on, and I'm really looking forward to a full house, Plough Lane, sitting there thinking, yeah, I was a little part of that as well.
A rather big part of it, but I've got to say as well, I mean, how are you in terms with football now? I mean, is it you just purely enjoy watching the game now, basically?
Yeah, like I say, I've been lucky enough to watch a lot of Aldershot games this year, and watch the conference, and that's been good. Even at that level, it's not the same watching, as you know, you watch games, just not the same without the crowd. It's not the same without the East Bank, Aldershot, and it certainly won't be the same without, what we can now call them, the Plough Lane boys. And again, to be respectful of the fact that we played at Kings Meadow, we were saved, the club was saved at Kings Meadow. It was built up slowly and cautiously, and we had those 9 years to get us in the Football League. Thank goodness Neil managed to save us the year I went out, because that would have been a blot on my time here. And you know, I know how hard everybody worked to get us in the Football League. I look back at all the managers, and every manager, Dave Anderson was fantastic. Before that, Terry Eames, Mike English, who never lost a game and got the sack. That must be the only manager in history that never lost a game and got the sack. I'm sure he could have took him to a tribunal if he thought about it, but I'm not suggesting he does. And then Dave Anderson left me with some good players and a good team spirit. Stuart and I were lucky to enjoy a fantastic spell at the club. Neil come in, saved our skin, and then took them on to another level. And yes, we went for two Crazy Gang members in Wally. I love Wally. Wally, again, you know, kept us up, and Glenn then took us on a little bit more, and it is a difficult ask in League One. And I look at where the club is now, and I think it's ready for another revolutionary change, and I think Robbo will give us that.
Can you believe it's coming up to the 10th anniversary of the City of Manchester?
I cannot, because I keep saying to the missus, like, it's been a good 5 years. Well, it has been a good 5 years. It's nearer 10, as she keeps pointing out to me. But again, typical Robbo, he's put those slides on, well, it's actually a video on, of Danny Kebbell scoring the winner and the celebrations, and Stephen Gregory saying one more, and it, like, a nice touch, and a massive, you know, I've got every single game we played, and the club give me a catalogue of all the things. And the first start of lockdown, I hadn't seen it for about 2 or 3 years. I thought, oh, bang that on. It was like a blockbuster for me. I couldn't take it off. I was going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. And the early days were uncomfortable, to say the least. You know, fans throwing the season ticket at me, quite rightly, because we couldn't beat, I don't know, Western-super-Mare or whatever it was. And a hard first year, real hard first year, grinding out results, playing ugly football, that give us a platform to then build a young side. And that's what I see in that lot that out there. They're young, they're hungry, they want to play modern attacking football. And that's not ticky-tacky round the back, that's being pragmatic and sensible. And also building up from the academy. You know, he knows every academy player. He knows all the talent that we've got available at his disposal. And okay, he's not in a position to dump them all in straight away. They're not ready yet. His job is pragmatic enough to know that, yeah, the priority is to stay up. But I think he's a man to lead us in the future.
You've hinted upon it. Where do you think this club could be in 10 years' time?
Well, I've just said to the boys in my little chat, I'm fed up of hearing that you can't play football to get out of the conference, you can't play football to get out of the League Two, you can't play football at this level on a tiny budget and play football. Yes, you can. If that's what your philosophy is, if that's what you really believe in, your heart and soul believes that, providing you're pragmatic enough to know that you've got to pick the points up necessary to keep yourself in the job. It'll be a different brand of football. It will be, some will love it. There's still some real hardliners who will shout out, get rid of it as soon as the fullback's got the ball, and that takes a while to change. You asked me the question, where do I think? I've just looked at the video of us beating Luton. Okay, it might have been on penalties, but we were miles ahead of him in the league. Luton are in the Championship. Are they a bigger club than us? Wycombe Wanderers, up the road from me, are they a bigger club than us? Oh, no way in a million years. You know, I know Gareth Ainsworth. He'll be saying, like, yeah, obviously we're trying to stay in the Championship, I know how big a league that is. But we've got to stop looking over our shoulder, stop looking behind us. There's only one team behind us, there's no point looking there, and start looking up at the stars, as Wimbledon have always done. Harry, when he first took the job when League 4, as the old 4th Division, I don't suppose he thought at the time they'd be a Premier Division club because there was no Premier League in them days. But he became a 1st Division club, then a Premier Division club, and for years and years, whether it was Joe Kinnear or was ever looking after it, they're like 6th position in the league. Well, there's nowhere in a million years they should, but there was an expectancy within the club, and I think we need to rekindle that expectancy level and give Robbo time to build a proper club from the base. And the foundations are set in place by himself. He set it up with Nigel Higgs all them years ago, and Nigel don't get enough credit for what he set up. And I remember the work him and Robbo put in to the setup, when realistically I could never pick a kid out of the academy and play him. It was like, well, yeah, put him on the bench, but might be given 5 minutes if we're winning 4-0. Now it's a proper academy. It's a proper club, and it's run by our own supporters. You know, I mean, all the hassle with, shall we go, is there a glass ceiling, shall we go outside? Well, it's going to be a struggle. It's still going to be a struggle financially in the years to come. But hey, we're Wimbledon, that's what we're about.
It's been an absolute pleasure as ever, Terry, and look forward to seeing you at Plough Lane.
Look forward to going there myself.